saying that ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Wherever, whatever. Dun, 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 dun. Are you hearing in something there? And that's just the way, my dear. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday. We are coming at you hot and heavy and sexy. This episode brought to you by Shakira. Doesn't make sense. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday, okay? Big news coming down the pipeline, okay? We've been sitting on this golden goose all weekend, starting yesterday. Anyway, Shakira back in the news, and I'm not talking about her hips not lying, but you know who might be lying? Her mouth. Why? Shakira is facing jail time for tax evasion. Let's say that again. Shakira is facing jail time for tax evasion. What does that mean? Apparently in Spain a few years ago, I forgot what year exactly, 2014, maybe, Shakira didn't pay her taxes. Okay? Apparently in Spain. And now here's where the issue is. When you don't pay your taxes, this is the thing that happens. Sometimes the IRS lets it slide for a little while. Okay, this is not particularly this case because this is international. The IRS will let it slide a couple years. Okay, they're backlogged right now. Who knows what's happening now? But you don't pay those taxes. A few years later, hey, motherfucker, guess what? You haven't paid your taxes 5 years ago. Oh, you're not financially good right now? We don't fucking care. We're taking everything. Oh, you made some money? We're taking that out of your tax return. Okay? The IRS does not give a shit about your well-being. The IRS is a gang in America. All right? The IRS is like one of the worst ran organizations we got. It is. Because it's just like you give them the money. I think it just goes towards people's pockets. Let's be real. But anyway, that's not this story. That's neither here nor there. But you know who that story's about? You know who that story's about? Wesley Snipes. That motherfucker was ahead of his time. Okay, he was the original Shakira. He was just like, you know what? I'm not paying my fucking taxes. And there ain't shit you can do to try to stop me. That's what Wesley Snipes said. He said, hey, good luck. All right? And he was in character as Blade. And he was like, come and take them. And you know what the IRS did? They went, cool. We're going to do exactly that. Not only that, we're going to put you in jail. Yeah. You're actually going to end up going to jail. Sorry. No. You want to pay it now? Because you realize, no. It's too late for that. It's too late for that, Mr. Vampire Slayer. You're going to jail. All right? Because they have to make an example of you. All right? Shakira is actually facing something insane. This is what's nuts is when you start looking at how much money some celebrities make, these performers. When you form, here's a little business for you guys, a little business scoop, a little Baskin Robbins single scoop of business talk for you, because that's all I got. Okay, I couldn't give you that 2-layer scoop if I wanted to. When you are an LLC, or you're a sole prop, or, we'll say an LLC because you get all your money up front for doing business. If you're a corporation or an LLC, you can be like, don't take my taxes out of it. I'll pay that if you're a business. I'm not sure if a sole prop, which is a sole proprietor, can do this, but you're responsible for paying those taxes. So let's say you're a performer or someone who doesn't understand money. You just started making money. You get paid this huge check. This happens to music artists all the time. You get paid this huge check. They say, hey, $5 million. This is what you just made. You take that money, not realizing that you're going to have to pay taxes on that. You have to cut that bitch in half. You got 2.5, all right, just to be safe. But what do people do? They go out and buy the car. Some people go out and buy a $500,000 car. I think they're out there. Oh, then what do? I have $5 million. I can go buy a multi-million-dollar home. The money's going to come. Oh, and here's $100,000 for you and $100,000 for this. They spend an insane amount of money and all these costs that they don't realize that they have. And then all of a sudden, when they don't really have that much money, or they do that for a few years and not paying those taxes, not putting the money aside, the IRS comes a knocking. They're like, hey, you owe us $9 million in back taxes. And they're like, what the actual fuck is going on? All right. Shit's fucked up, son. But what's going on in this situation is that I think she was performing in Spain. I'm not sure if she was a citizen. And she apparently did some performances out there. And they must have been huge performances to be getting taxed this hard. She owes the Spanish government $17 million, okay, in euros. But it transfers over into $7 million. $17 million. Sorry, I just dropped $10 million off. Which allegedly she's going to fight. Because, I mean, that's what you got to do. But it's just crazy that tax fraud can just send you to jail. It's like one of the craziest things. Like, there's so many crimes that are out there that won't send you to jail. But then all of a sudden, you fuck up with the IRS. You don't give the government their money, and they're like, no. I think it's because that system just needs so much money, and they don't really do shit. Like, if you could see that your taxes were actually going to the right things, you would feel great paying them. I literally feel like a mafia gangster is taking my money every time I have to send money to the IRS. That's what it feels like. He's just eating his gabagoo and you're handing him the money and he has a Rolex on. Anyway. But if you could actually see a reflection of your tax money going towards good things, great. I saw that like California is doing this crazy, and I don't know the intricacy of it, but they have one of the most, the greatest budgets when it comes to the homeless problem. They actually have so much funding for it that I think they could give each homeless person over $100,000. If that's not a corrupt system, or they're just wildly, what's the word I'm looking for? They're wildly incompetent. Either way, either they're corrupt or they're wildly incompetent. Something needs to change when you can give out each homeless person $100,000 a year for what the budget is. That's just showing you it's plain corruption. Okay, some people are getting salaries and paid that aren't doing shit. And it's like all these government deals are like just give like cushy jobs to people. Just like with the whole Pfizer thing, when the FDA approved the vaccine. Listen, we just got flagged. We just got flagged for even saying that. When they like approved it, people that worked for the FDA all of a sudden got these board jobs with Pfizer. No, that's not weird at all. Anybody else? I feel like I'm just over here taking crazy pills. But yeah, this is just nuts about Shakira. Like, could you imagine Shakira going to jail for tax fraud? Listen, there's few people on this planet I would let spit in my mouth. Shakira's on that list. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, my fiance is aware of it. And it just is what it is. A few people on this planet I let spit in my mouth. Shakira, you go ahead and come redeem that coupon whenever. Not after prison, though. Might change you a little bit. Might actually be hotter. Anyway, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Another crazy thing in the news. It's not that crazy. Biden has COVID again. Apparently, he's doing well. Listen, this is the moment in the movie where Biden actually passes away, and then we get robot Biden. Okay? Can you imagine if Kamala Harris actually became the president? That would be like Dr. Seuss running the country. She literally talks in circles. It's the craziest thing. At this point, every president or like political person we have that excels to the top is a caricature in their own way. It almost seems like a cartoon version of what a politician should be. Like, it's such a stranglehold on these people. Like, I can't believe there were so many people that voted for this, you know? And I get some people, there weren't a lot of options. I understand that, but it's like this system is crazy. We need something new. All right. Let's not get too political. All right. But we need something new. This ain't it, fam. This ain't it. I feel like this is a growing part for America. We're in the trenches. We're in that part where everything's up in the air and things are getting dredged up and it's pretty murky. Okay, we're realizing we're in the growth stage of our life where information, it can't be controlled. And people, I hope, are going to start waking up. The real wokeness, not whatever has happened and become of the world now with wokeness. But it feels like it can't be stopped at this point. As long as we don't keep scrolling and we just don't get lost in just superficial stuff, it's kind of crazy. I think about this a lot, and this is something that I'm always working on, is trying to get better at disciplining myself. Whether that's like controlling desires and impulses. Desires is a weird word for a man to say. Controlling desires. That sounds like I'm on the cover of a romance novel, okay? And I'm trying to control this burning desire of some lady named, I don't know, Savannah, who lives in Savannah. I don't know. Listen, what was that? This is Scarlet Letter? Like that kind of stuff. Just impulses. And I don't mean sexual. It can be impulses just as scrolling on my phone. It's like the weirdest thing when you break down what scrolling on your phone is, when you catch yourself in a loop of just like scrolling and looking and you're like getting nothing from it and you're just chasing dopamine. We're just chasing dragons. All right. And it's like, that's the way that we don't ever get out of this crazy system, is if everybody just we zone into the phone for all that dopamine, you know? We got to get out. We got to hug each other. We got to unleash our burning desire on each other. Huh? What? Shakira spit in my mouth? Who said that? Crazy. Anyway, let's move on from that because that ran its course. Saturday, everybody woke up to a nice little message from Will Smith. Will Smith has finally acknowledged the Chris Rock slap. Okay? Listen. We've been waiting for a while to hear this. You know what should have been done? This should have came out months ago. Anyway, it should have came out months ago. Why can't I say that word? We're going to do take 3. This should have came out months ago. Perfect. Keep take 3. Will Smith did this huge apology video that was produced in a studio. He read off questions as if he went, "Hey fans, submit some questions and I'm going to answer them." Like it almost seemed like it was supposed to be on the spot questions coming into him. But instead of just talking honestly, he just did this super generic Will Smith speech. And it was all bullshit. It did more harm than good. It kind of sealed the coffin on my bromance with Will Smith. To me, for so long, you know, I grew up on the Fresh Prince, Men in Black. I thought Will Smith was so cool. Even after he dissed Eminem, you guys remember when Will Smith put out "He's a Nice Guy, Mr. Nice Guy"? Dissed by Eminem, but did it bother him? Yep. Well, he classy. Big Will just make another mill, walk right past he. I'm a nice guy. Why y'all harassing me, huh? And then he was just like fucking rapping. "He's a nice guy. How your mama now? He's a nice guy. Keep a nice flow for your mom down in Philly. Rah." Anyway, as you can see, I know the fucking song. I played it a lot. Listen, at that time, I was big into the drama of rap battles. Remember when rap beefs were going on? We had Eminem, 50 Cent, Ja Rule, early 2000s. I was fucking in it. Just dissing Ja Rule. Even though I fucked with some Ja Rule song. Would I be without you? Anyway. Do you guys remember Fire Island? That fucking festival? That was like the weirdest multiverse crossover of all time. That Ja Rule was somehow involved in that. That he would just be standing there weirdly shirtless, talking to the guys about Fire Island and be like, "Yeah, it's going to be hot. Would I be without fire?" That hurts my throat very bad, but I did that twice for you guys. But I loved Will Smith. I even like Wild Wild West. A lot of people didn't like that. That soundtrack, dude, You go to a party when you're a kid and you're bouncing on someone's trampoline, and all of a sudden you just hear a boom, 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 wicka, wicka, wow, wicka, wicka, wow, wicka, wow, wow, west, something west, desperado. Well, my gun hit me and I don't want nada. Anyway, sorry, this is turning into just karaoke for me at this point. When I was, I loved playing songs for people. This is still one of my favorite things. My fiance, I know it kills her that when we're on a road trip or something, I'm like, oh, check out this song. And I'm playing all these songs that I love, but I'm just like forcing these on her anyway. But I would call girls in high school. I'd be like, hey, check out this song, girl. And I'd put the fucking phone to the computer, like the speaker. And it'd just be like, my whole life has changed. Yeah. Remember Genuine? You know? I'd be younger than that. I'd be like 13 years old being like, hey, girl, just listen to this real quick. And fucking Casey and JoJo, I'd just be like, all my life, I pray for someone like you. I'd be 12 years old telling girls that. And you know what? It fucking worked. All right? It did what it had to do. Is it embarrassing now? Yeah, but listen, when you're 12 years old, you don't have many tricks. All right? And putting Casey and JoJo on is one of them. And at that time in my life, it wasn't like I was lying. I was 12 years old. All right? And at that point, I had been waiting all my life for this. Because when you're 12 years old, dude, you get yourself a little girlfriend. You get yourself a little spin the bottle moment. That's your entire world fucking blasted through the eons. The universe changes after that. All right? Because times were different. At that point in life, you didn't have the internet. I didn't have the internet. It wasn't what it was when I was 12 years old. All right? I can't imagine what the world is for a 12-year-old now compared to what I was rocking with when I was 12. All I had was Casey and JoJo off a LimeWire, a landline, and some girl across town, and I'm just in her ear, just doing fucking backup vocals to Casey and JoJo's. I just be in the back, oh my life, you know, like that shit. That was my trick. That was all I had. All right. Anyway, Will Smith and this bullshit apology. That's what this was all about. It all felt too scripted. It all felt fake. It's like something that there was no realness about it. He wasn't being vulnerable. He was doing what a publicist would tell him to do, with the right things to say. This is how you do it. This is what you do. You know, say this. It was all too cookie cutter. It was all vague. It was all very too professional. It was too produced, you know, especially there was nothing groundbreaking on it that would have made it okay that you waited this long to put this out. All right. It should have came out the next day, and it shouldn't have been like that. You should have recorded this with a phone. What I think is great, and why I think Joe Rogan is because how quick he would put things out when he made a mistake. He would just go on his phone and record a video straight to the people. And he would just talk like a regular person. He'd be vulnerable and he'd say real shit. And he'd just be like, look, I fucked up. There's things that I'm not proud of. And I did this. And, you know, whatever I said in these things, you know, I apologize to whoever's hurt, and anything, whether it was about, you know, controversy or about, you know, when people would attack him, whatever. Will Smith should have just done something like that, but he can't, because you know what? He's in full bitch mode. Okay. And one day, am I going to apologize to Will Smith for talking like that? Maybe. But this also isn't the first time he slapped somebody. Do you guys remember that reporter who tried to kiss him? Granted, it was a weird move. It seemed like this reporter was doing like almost a prank video. But there's a red carpet moment where Will Smith is there talking to this reporter, and the reporter goes and gives him a hug, and then he goes in for a kiss, and Will Smith's like, man, what the fuck you doing? Or what the hell are you doing? And literally backhands him in the face. So it was just like that with this. It's like, no, you think it's okay to physically assault people, and to disrespect them like that. And I understand, you know, you're in a situation like that. It's weird. But he never acknowledged that because there was no backlash, because he didn't do it on such a big stage. It was almost like a viral video where everybody kind of gave him a pass. But he did this in such a violating way that it was just, weird. And it was inexcusable. And it was just, all of it was so weird. And the only pass I give Will Smith is that dude is being manipulated in a fucking horrible way. That dude is a codependent monster. Okay, because it seems like the way he is, and it could just be everybody doesn't realize that Will Smith is a child star. How old was he on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? He was young. He was still an adolescent. And there's always that thing where they say whenever you get famous, that's where you get locked into mentally and emotionally. Was watching videos of Britney Spears. Listen. This comes out weird. All right. But the last episode talked about watching videos of Avril Lavigne. But my fiance and I, we were just in a kick. We were on the couch and we are like, let's just watch some old music videos. And we are just having a good old time. Little fucking Smash Mouth, little fucking Backstreet Boys in the sync. The video where Justin Timberlake for Dirty Pop is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And Justin Timberlake should be embarrassed of it when he goes, Dirty Pop. And he goes, man, I'm tired of singing. And he just goes, and he just does the worst beatbox ever. And then all the rest of the NSYNC are just like floating in the background while he's like, Dirty Pop. So stupid. But we watched Britney Spears, and it was like Britney Spears acts the same exact way now as she did in that video, Hit Me Baby One More Time. And my fiance was like, yeah, that's because that's when she got famous. She was like, it's a capsule of like whenever your life just cemented like that. And that could be it with Will Smith too. Listen, there is something whenever you're in a art form, especially Hollywood. I think Hollywood is the worst form of fame for multiple reasons. I feel like it's fracturing a bit, but fame for the sake of fame and attention for playing pretend. I think reality star is like the lowest level. Because it's like, you look at the Kardashians and it's like, you guys are just existing in this weird thing. And it's like, there's not a big skill set, at least when you have actors and everything, like some of them, great actors, that's a crazy talent and it's a skill set and they work very, very hard. Fucking Tom Hardy. I meant to say Tom Hardy the first time, but Tom Holland just came out. But anyway, Robert Downey Jr., you look at some of these actors and you're like, these people are amazing. Okay. But the point I was making is that I think there's something that happens in acting, in specifically, is it's a weird attention thing. And you have to play that game of Hollywood where, especially right now, I feel like there's so much virtue signal and everything. And it's all about attention and people liking you and what you're known as. And I feel like Will Smith, like if you want to be an actor or an actress or even a stand-up comic, it's because there's like a hole inside. There's something missing. There's something that you're trying to express. I feel like that's why a lot of it, like performance and writing, is like you're inspired to create and want validation from your work, even with stand-up comics. But I think what grounds stand-up comics a little bit more is the reality of bombing. Like bombing is harsh and it makes you be stuck in reality. Like if you start floating up too much and then you bomb, But also your job as a stand-up comic is to like observe and be able to stay grounded and have stuff that people can relate to. So it's like you have to live life and be kind of like a normal person and have experiences to be able to like relate with an audience. I feel like a entertainer, like a actor, doesn't necessarily have to do that. They can like become so much in a bubble and their whole validation is off of attention and people liking them. And I think when you're young, like Will Smith, I know his past was, I think he saw his mom getting beat and everything like that. And he never, stood up for her and he always regretted it. That's a hole, that's a void. And I think him just getting to the point of like, wanting to protect and all of that is why he reacted that way with Jada. And I think that we kind of like Will's been acting. He's a hurt person. That is a hurt person. Okay. The way he reacted, it's what you realize with everything. As I get older, hurt people. Bars. Stole that from the internet. But they really do. You're going to lash out and just because you have so much pain built up. You ever had an argument with a friend or family and something comes out and then you're just like, that was way too much of a response for what we're actually talking about. You know, there's something that has you wound up and you're just like a crock pot and a pressure cooker and you just open the steam a little bit and too much came up. Like you were ready to burst and this was just a catalyst. I feel like that's Will Smith, and he doesn't want, like his identity has been around. I'm like over here just like I'm his therapist, a psychiatric therapist, psychiatrist. Anyway, let's move on. It feels like he wants to be this Will Smith, this confident man who's grown in his wisdom and blah, blah, blah. But everything that's going on in his personal life doesn't reflect that. And it's like you see the struggle and he's still trying to play the facade like, Chris Rock, I am so sorry. You know, I owe you an apology. That's also something that's bugged me with Will Smith is when he talks, he definitely puts on a voice. Like it's not just his regular speaking voice, you know? Anyway, we've talked about Will Smith too much. How much time have we done? We're getting close here to the end, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I just don't know. I saw the movie Nope. Okay. Jordan Peele. Nope. We're going to have slight spoilers on this. We'll just talk about this a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed the movie. The movie Nope by Jordan Peele. We won't give a full review until we give some people some chances to watch it. So we'll be kind of vague on overall thoughts. Going into this movie, what I would tell people, this movie is different than Us. Don't expect Us and don't expect Get Out. Completely different. I applaud Jordan Peele for his dedication to what he wanted to accomplish with this film. I liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's different. It's completely different. It almost had like a Cloverfield. What was the original? Remember the Cloverfield? It was an M. Night Shyamalan movie where the whole movie was basically filmed with a camcorder. It has like kind of that kind of vibe to it. This film actually felt a lot like an M. Night Shyamalan film, meaning that they're almost like standalone versions of what movies should be. And it's a compliment to say it's like an M. Night Shyamalan, because these are the kind of movies that I like because they're not cookie cutter, that you don't know what the ending is going to be. You can't kind of figure out the plot of where it's going or what the message behind it is. And I think Jordan Peele stuffs more story into it that can be left up to interpretation. And it's kind of like a metaphor for other things. Like, so if you go into this movie, I don't know if this is cheating, you go into this movie looking at it as if the alien is fame in Hollywood, okay? And you go into it that way and looking at all these people who interact with the alien in a way of it being fame, it representing fame. It's a pretty phenomenal metaphor, okay? And it's very deep. And I think just like M. Night Shyamalan, like you can't expect every movie to be Signs. I thought Signs was like a perfect movie. There was so much that was perfect about it. There wasn't much that I didn't like about Signs. There were so many different stories weaving. I was woven into that. We really panicked on the word weaving. Weaving into that storyline. That the music and the subtlety of not seeing the alien that much, phenomenal. That was a great movie. Has there been some flops by M. Night Shyamalan? Yeah, there's people that have hated on M. Night Shyamalan films. And I think this movie if people are going from the sense of us, I think that they're going to look at this movie differently. Some people might be let down if they're going into it expecting something different. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this episode. I know we just went down rabbit holes, but you know what? I had a great time. Okay, I had a great time with you guys. Shout out to Maddie Stew, hilarious comedian on the last episode. We're going to start trying to do something where we have one solo episode, one guest. Don't quote me on that. It's just a system that we're going to be working out. I have some stuff that I need to adjust in the studio to make it kind of seamless because there was some issues last time and I had equipment not working and it just ended up being kind of a thing for the last episode. That episode was insane to edit. I had to literally go through and chop every single different vocal that him and I did because it was just like the timing was off because I had to record my audio through Zoom. So that's why it sounded weird. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, not your problem. I want you guys to know I love you. Thank you for supporting the podcast always. And remember, no matter what, I still love you.